Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty. And sorry I didn't get a review done yesterday. Totally not intentional. Delivery was a little bit bigger because of the issues we had the week before. And before I knew it was like 4:45 and I still had stuff to do. So I ended up having to make the decision to, well, I effectively read a comic book, but then thought I'm not going to have time to really think about this one. And the comic I read yesterday, which I'm reviewing today, is The Blue Flame by Cantwell. And also, depressingly, colours by Kurt Russell, but not that Kurt Russell. I kind of got my hopes up when I saw that name. I thought that was going to be amazing. But anyway, Blue Flame is a story in 2 parts. And to unwrap what they're doing, I'm afraid there will be some spoilers in this review. I usually try my best to avoid this kind of thing, but I'm like telegraphing it right up front. I'm going to tell you about the actual plot, and I'm going to tell you about the twist. I won't just get into it. I'll let people enjoy this review for a while, and then I'll remind people just before we get to the twist, but just be pre-warned on this one. So, Blue Flame is a superhero who apparently can travel across galaxies with his amazing rocket pack thing that shoots blue flame, and is in the grand old tradition of deep space adventurers. Adam Strange is the first one that comes to mind. But this kind of thing is a fairly common trope. It uses a lot of imperialistic ideas, and sometimes it can be problematic, but still entertaining, kind of like boys' own adventure kind of stuff. And if handled well, it can be really interesting. But he's also apparently a guy from Milwaukee. That's an Algonquin word. Who basically fixes boilers and also is part of a group of masked adventurers, vigilantes, very low-key street-level vigilantes, who basically kind of mixture of fight crime and go to car shows. Very much low-key, as in the fact that people know that they exist, don't necessarily know their secret identities, but will pay money to have a photo and an autograph from them. And it's those two kind of disparate stories which form the main crux of the story. Because of those two different stories, it gives a chance to play around with some art a little bit. I'm going to show you an absolutely brilliant bit of art here. That is just all kinds of glorious. I absolutely love it. We're not talking like a huge amount of detail, but what it does really, really effectively. And obviously, a very different version of a character. Sorry, that's a side story. When you actually see the gang there, that they all hang out in basically just an old room, and those guys basically worry like a lot about having money to cover repairs for their vans when they get in stuff, and there's lots of interplay between the characters there, and that basically leads to my first big point about this. It's clear that there's something happening where there is some kind of difference between the intergalactic adventurer and dude in a costume, and the moment you start thinking that way, my brain goes towards, well, what is that connection? What's actually going to happen here? Is this going to be the twist ending? Is it going to be alternate realities? Is one of them dreaming the other one? There's my brain goes to a lot of different places on this kind of thing. There's a lot of tropes which fall into it. And unfortunately, that kind of ended up taking over my thought process a little bit. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on, but it wasn't with hindsight that I realized there's some excellent writing in this, like genuine down-to-earth conversations. There is, in fact, 2 pages which has nothing to do with the plot whatsoever. And I had totally forgotten about it until I went back and flicked through it this morning, because I got so caught up in what else is going on. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll leave that to you to decide. But for me, I felt like it was kind of selling the actual story a little bit short, because I was concentrating so much on explaining the big picture idea, which is effectively at the start of it, he's on this alien world and he meets this advanced civilization, and he's in the middle of what could be like a trial of some description, and then you cut to him just waking up in Milwaukee to go and repair some boilers for the day. And those things are so disparate that I was trying to figure out what was going on. Now, we are going to get to the spoiler on this one, because, as I say, it kind of is worth discussing what the twist is and how it plays into storytelling. So if you don't want the spoiler, turn away now. Just go and wander off, do something else. It's absolutely fine. It's a cool comic. My quick shorthand review is it's worth checking out. It looks great. It's got some nice ideas. But the thing that makes it really interesting, spoiler, is that at this convention, this car show, him and his compatriots get gunned down by a faceless person. You don't really see who they are. And he ends up in hospital, basically in a bed, strapped up to lots of machines, and then an almost ethereal conversation happening behind him is that he is on trial for all humanity. And it leaves it actually just as ambiguous. It never answers the question, are we dealing with a guy from Milwaukee who is basically really badly injured and in some kind of coma dream is thinking about, well, what if he was an intergalactic warrior and he's been put and he's so important that he holds the entire human race's fate in his hands, or is he this intergalactic warrior? And the life that he thinks he's living is actually what these other aliens are using to test him. If he can get through this life, if he can look at what's happened, these people being gunned down, and still find a reason to save them and to put them as a force for good. I like that ending. I like that it stays ambiguous. I like the fact that it doesn't do end of episode 1. Here are your answers to your questions. Now we can carry on, like, doing different types of stories. It holds that thing alive, that mystery alive. And also, what the hell is going on with those two people? They are never mentioned, as far as I'm aware, at any other point in the comic book. And their story is weirdly mundane. But because everything else is going on, that mundanity is actually quite interesting. And it makes me want to know what's going on. To summarize very quickly, because I'm a minute over time, the fact that you don't know what's going on makes it brilliant and makes me want to carry on reading it rather than getting frustrated that I've not been told what's going on. All in all, 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up. That's it from me. I'll be back tomorrow. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. Bye.